Okay, I'm going to do this review now, I think more so for the benefit of somebody buying a used version of this car, because there's obviously not going to be any new ones around at the moment. So the folks who are going to be watching this are either thinking about buying one or they've already got one. So let's start with a 0 to 60 test. 3, 2, 1, go. Eventually. Okay, well these old dogs have been around for a while now. They're obviously like cheap toasters you buy in the supermarket. They're designed to work for a little while and then to fail and die a death most horrid and end up in a scrapyard and get recycled as beer cans or washing machines. Now, let's start with the basics. This car's done nearly 140,000 miles, so let's see what's worn. The steering, well, that's obviously gone, because if I give this a little bit of a wiggle, there's plenty of movement in that steering wheel before I even get the front steering wheels to move. So the bushes are gone there, probably the steering box as well. The brakes, well, the brakes are never fantastic when these cars are new, but I'll give them a proper test further on down the road just to see what they are like. The wing mirrors are pathetic. They're too low. Very funny shape as well. They're more shaped like a banana. This weird sort of concave bend to them. I mean, it's just bizarre. The only good thing I'd say about it is the fact that they're very long. So the vision's not that bad. You can see where you've been, which is important. The rear view vision is very obstructed by the headrests, to be fair, and if you had 3 people in the back, you're not going to be seeing a lot out of that window. There's quite a lot of noise coming from underneath the floor pan of the car. I must admit, I find in vehicles, if there's noise coming from beneath the car, it tends to get amplified from the actual cab of the car itself. The instrument cluster. Now, the actual dials themselves are easy enough to read, but for some strange reason Ford put 5 or 6 tiny little circles around all these dials. The only reason I can think that is for styling. I don't think these are warning lamps for any other type. That's just confusing. It just doesn't help the situation at all. And I think if this was a bit lower, it would obstruct the dials. Now, you may wonder why that's a problem, because you can obviously move the steering wheel, but the whole idea of moving the steering wheel is so you can get a good driving position. It's not so you can read the speed dials. Now, excuse me for being a bit vague, I was just in a bit of a strange traffic situation there. Right, so we've got a 5-speed manual here, coming up to 65-70 miles an hour now, so I'm just going to give the steering a bit of a wiggle test, see how this car pans out. Right, well, it's very top heavy and it's got a lot of roll to it, so your anti-roll bar links are probably going to be shot on these. You're not going to want to do an emergency swerve in this vehicle. The car is not going to complement your driving. It's going to make it difficult to control the vehicle. So if you're thinking about buying one of these, I would go for a vehicle that's got a bit of a sports background to it, because you got sport shocks, you're going to have better control on the vehicle. Control on this is terrible. Now, as for the brakes, well, you don't have the ability to apply gradual pressure. They're either on or they're off, which is usually the sign of crappy car manufacturing, to be fair. So you're not going to get a lot out of something like this. What you have here is a bare bones package. This is something that does what it says on the tin and nothing more. It's a no frills car. You have a steering wheel, you have 4 wheels, you have an engine, stereo, that's it. Nothing more. As long as you are aware of that and you don't expect anything more from this vehicle, then you'll be satisfied. So just to recap What you want to look out for with these vehicles is worn steering, worn brakes, and I think that's probably the only major issues that are going to be here. The bushes underneath the car can be replaced, they're not a problem. It's only really the subframe bushes that are treading on bushes that are tricky to change. Bushes are meant to go, they don't last forever. But if your steering box is gone, that's a different story. But the thing that really does concern me with this car is, one, the brakes are really crap, and two, I don't like the way it rolls around when you give the steering a bit of a wobble. A car should be more secure than that. You know, at the end of the day, if a car boats around in that fashion, it's going to be very difficult to control under certain circumstances. It's front wheel drive too, so your steering is going to be affected by the driving wheels. Personally, I wouldn't even consider buying a Ford Focus, but if I was forced to, I would certainly go for something that's got a firmer suspension and maybe a heavier engine. As I say before, this is a bare bones package. Don't expect anything more than basically what I've described, and then you should be satisfied. This is a car, this is a tool, this is like a hammer. It bangs nails in wood and that's it, nothing else.